Welcome everybody. Welcome. Uh, welcome for another round of my storytelling thoughts. Yeah, you can see I'm still a work in progress. So I'm still a work in progress with this show here. But today, I'm going to be talking about Chainsaw Man. No, 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 Chainsaw Man. This is actually one of the most amazing pieces of world build I have um, ever seen, ever read in manga. I have watched the anime, but I'm kind of like ahead of the the series, the anime series. I'm still gotta finish up volume 13. I just got 14 and 15. 15 just got released, so I'm looking to get back into the manga and continue on the adventures of Denji and Chainsaw Man. So basically, Chainsaw Man is about Denji, who had a 38 million yen debt dropped on his head by his dead father, and he had to pay back the mob himself since his dad is dead. And in the process, he comes across this basically a little devil, this precious little dog thing named Pochita, with a chainsaw for a nose, and basically they got into some trouble with the mafia, and they Pochita and gave Denji the powers of Chainsaw Man, and now Denji goes out and destroys the demons. Runs off and destroys the demons. So basically, he gets picked up by an organization led by Majima, if I remember her name correctly. Makima? Makima. I think it's Makima. Um, it's been a long time since I've read that arc. That's how far ahead I am. But basically, as he learns how to uh, be Chainsaw Man and harness the power of Chainsaw Man, they're getting caught up on some weird shenanigans. He's getting caught up in some weird shenanigans with the rest of the organization, and all sorts of chaos ensues. But this isn't a review of sorts. I want to talk about the world build and what I liked about Chainsaw Man. So basically, as you can see, Pochita and Denji here. Um, Pochita is a devil, and basically the way the world works is that humanity has fears. We all have fears, but the thing is that the fears manifest itself into devils. So if you have the fear of, say, heights, like the collective fear of heights. A lot of human beings have the fear of heights. So a devil that is all about the fear of heights has manifested itself. And they came up with an what's it? I'm sorry, I forgot the mangaka. Yeah, Fujimoto-san. What he did was he came up with a variety of fears that manifested itself into devils, like the fear of tomatoes, the fear of chickens, the most innocuous and such, to the most horrifying. And I'm not even going to go any further in terms of that, but let's just say if you have the fear of, uh, let's say, you fear being in enclosed spaces. There's plenty of people who have that fear. There's a devil will form and will use that to hurt and kill people. But there are some devils that are not like that. Some of them are a little bit more amoral or indifferent or chaotic neutral, um, or chaotic lawful, like in the case of Pachita. He's more chaotic, no, uh, chaotic lawful, because he's not interested. Even though he's capable of killing people, he chooses not to, unless you're going after him. That's the way Pochita works. You know what I'm saying? And by extension, Chainsaw Man. If you're not going after him as a human being, he ain't gonna mess with you. He's gonna be focusing more on killing off the demons and protecting people. So he's a superhero. But the thing is, that makes it interesting of the world, is that the greater the fear collective fear of humans, the stronger the devil, to the point that it's near unbeatable. And that's pretty amazing. It's pretty amazing, you know what I'm saying? And what's also amazing is how they are manifested, because the devils are as much living beings as humans are, but they have like they're if I understand correctly, there is a heaven and a hell. There is a heaven and there is a hell, and you know the devils get, most definitely get sent to hell, but they can reincarnate and come back to the earth and live amongst humans. And many of them do live amongst humans, others don't. That's what makes this very, very, very fascinating, um, because that's something that has never really thought of. Because usually, when it comes to doing stories about devils and demons, they're always depicted as 100% bad guys, which is true. It's very easy, very cliche. But to have a character like Chainsaw Man, saying who's a devil, who is a devil, saying part devil in this case, because Pochita merged with Denji. Um, oh wow, I lost my thought there. No, it just shows that not every demon is inherently evil. You know what I'm saying? And the thing is about Chainsaw Man is that the devils fear him. All the devils fear Chainsaw Man. That what makes it very fascinating, because it's like, oh, oh, so it's not just the conduit doesn't go in one direction, which is humans fear the devils and they get all the power. The demons can fear the devils and can fear someone like Chainsaw Man, and can very much get taken out. So yeah, um, it is quite remarkable, how they were able to establish that. A lot of the characters have some crazy crazy power. You got the humans, and I'm still trying to figure out what the heck Kobeni has. She's one of Denji's teammates, and she's just got this weird crazy power and everything. But the other thing is, once again, much like Baki and One Piece, it focuses on, it has emphasis of people's, dreams, their wants and desires, and everybody has a want and desire. Denji has the desire to experience everything because of what he suffered through in childhood. He never, got everything he wanted. Makima is in pursuit of something that she wants. Uh, Kobeni, Kobeni, she just wants to, earn a living because her parents are crap. And it just gets better and better as the whole thing marches along. The story marches along, the team builds up, and it does hit, and it hits hard on a lot of things. Um, but seeing everyone's backstory again, with the backstories, another power motif of Japan's storytelling prowess, gets us to understand all the characters, and they get fleshed out nicely. I don't They don't skip a beat or anything, and how they all work within the world makes a lot of sense, with the way that the demons feed on fear, literally, but they also have fear themselves, which is very, very rare, to get out of the depictions of devils and demons in storytelling, and it's pretty awesome. Um, I love the fact that you have some good natured demons like Pochita, because Pochita has care for Denji, because Denji cared for Pochita, and Pochita's watching this kid, when Denji was a kid and growing up, downtrodden, bullied, pushed around, but still holding on to these wonderful dreams and everything. And then is like, okay, I'm gonna give you my power, because I want to see your dreams come true. And that just really shows that not every single devil is, naturally evil. It all depends on, the circumstances. And for Denji's circumstance with Pogita, it's a boy and his dog relationship, which is basically what it boils down to. I mean, it's pretty brilliant that they went with the boy and his dog type of story. Uh, but this also really knows how to pull tragedy, especially, I'm not gonna reveal that. Next, you'll have to see it in season two. Season two is coming up, so don't worry. You're not, you're all gonna get to see what I read. But the more you delve deeper into, the rules of the world, the more amazingly creative it gets. When you start finding out the secrets of Chainsaw Man and why, the devils fear him, it's very mind blowing. Um, Let me see here. Yeah, because we were getting to that part here, and I think it was alluded to, if I understand correctly. Uh, Yeah, in volume 13. So I think, it's more fleshed out in 14 and 15. Unfortunately, like I said, I'm still finishing up 13. Trying to finish up 13 so I can get into 14 and 15 quickly, so I can stay ahead of everybody. But, uh, still, still, one of the key and interesting elements of, Chainsaw Man, as the world builds up. I don't know. I don't know what if this is the payoff. I'm just spitballing here. Um, my assumption is that he's taking a cue from, Evil Dead. There is very much, elements of, United States horror film elements in it, including, Japanese horror, U.S. horror and Japanese horror. But aside from the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, in which, the horror villain, wielded the chainsaw, there is one other horror series in which the hero runs around with a chainsaw. In fact, there's a couple of those. Uh, now I'll name two off the top of my head. One is George Romero's, Undead series, zombie series. There have been, times when chainsaws had been used to take down the zombies, though impractical as it is. And the other one is Evil Dead. Ash. Ash Williams himself, best known for having a chainsaw attached to his arm. And that was his go-to weapon. So, while even though the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Leatherface himself, the chainsaw is his go-to weapon, he's the only villain, the only horror villain to really do that, to utilize such a thing. All the other, times chainsaws are used are from heroes. The people, Ash Williams, or anybody from a zombie movie. There's always a chainsaw involved, and so that's where, Fujimoto linked into. Let me see here. Is there anything else in here? No, these are all just chapters. Yeah, don't need to, worry about that. But yeah, Fujimoto, I believe. I don't know. I haven't checked any interviews or anything, because I'm trying to avoid. Um, uh, why does that have to? Huh? Hey, welcome, Tech-san. What do you mean by why does it have to link to something? The chainsaw? Well, because it's called inspiration. You may not know this, but for us writers, sometimes we find inspiration from other things, and we tend to draw elements from other things and implement it into our own writings. And given the nature, of the horror element of, Chainsaw Man, and Chainsaw being in the hands of a hero, it makes one wonder, how much, horror, influenced, Fujimoto-san when he created Chainsaw Man, particularly the chainsaw, since chainsaws are normally used by heroes like Ash Williams and various characters in George Romero's zombie movies. Oh, it could. It could. It is very much possible. It's very much possible that it could come off the top of our own heads. It is very much possible. It happens to be. It happens to be. You're absolutely right. It can happen. It can happen. But remember, but remember, uh, um, but remember, sometimes we can be influenced by other people's works, and we can implement those elements and make it our own. And don't confuse what I'm talking about here with those liberal arts uh, um, uh, zealots who can't accept a cigar to just be a cigar and think that a chainsaw is a metaphorical and allegorical think that it's an allegorical and metaphorical representation of geopolitical economics. It's just that his whole entire motif, it's a horror motif, and and unless I could find interviews where he can explain the motif, I'm just spitballing how grindhouse. I'm just spitballing how interesting it is that the chainsaw uh, invokes fear on the devils in the story, given the rules of the world. I was just curious if he found uh, and I was just curious if he found influence from characters like Ash Williams and such. Yeah, one with the knight with the chainsaw leg. Yeah. So I'm just looking through the world of the world build and how horror and the world builds of horror, you know, how throw. Let's throw in Tarantino. Thanks. I needed another example. Chainsaw leg. because because the way that the world build works in Chainsaw Man is that the devils get their powers through fear, and yet the devils fear Chainsaw Man. So I was very curious if he was drawing the chainsaw fear invoked onto the devils coming from characters like Ash Williams and the various characters who use chainsaws in zombie movies, because the only other villain in horror, the only villain in horror that uses a chainsaw is Leatherface, and he's the only one that's best known for using the chainsaw. Everyone else, any other depiction of chainsaw is usually in the hands of the protagonists or heroes. So, given that Denji's a hero, I was just wondering if that was where he was getting if he was getting influence from that. And influence is not the same as metaphorical and allegorical. Observing that something is an influence is not the same as saying that a chainsaw is an allegory or a metaphor for something. They're completely different definitions. They're not mutually the same. This is not one of those type of, oh yeah, the chainsaw is an allegorical metaphor for geopolitical strains between. Now watch. Wikipedia is probably gonna watch. I bet you YouTube's gonna slap one of those Wikipedia fact checks on this video when I post it up. They'll be like this geopolitical thing, according to Wikipedia. So says YouTube. So yeah, the world build of Chainsaw Man is pretty amazing for a horror. It's pretty amazing for horror and how it's being approached. And and so I'm looking forward to not only getting through volume 13 and get down to 14 and 15, but see how they do season 2. Trust me, you're all gonna love season 2. You're gonna love it. It's gonna be amazing. So that's it for my storytelling thoughts on Chainsaw Man. So make sure to comment, like, subscribe, share your thoughts on Chainsaw Man. Do you believe that the chainsaw is a metaphorical and allegorical depiction of the geopolitical strife of modern of postmodern economics? Or do you believe that a chainsaw is just a chainsaw? Me, a chainsaw is just a chainsaw. Heavily influenced from possibly and potentially influenced by classic chainsaw tropes of Ash Williams and the various protagonists of chainsaw wielding maniacs. Thank you all for joining me, and y'all have a good night.